A new bill being introduced in New Jersey would say the quiet part out loud and formally create a two-tier system of rights, making all elected officials exempt from the state's gun control laws. And it was introduced by the Republicans. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It is not unusual for gun control bills to exempt law enforcement or sometimes even state officials, and I originally assumed that this bill was that it was just part of a bill that would exempt these elected officials from whatever gun control bill du jour. That is not the case. This is a new bill introduced in New Jersey that completely twists that, and right down to its title is a bill dedicated to exempting all elected officials from the state's gun control. Dedicated bill for that. And as I said in the opener, it's a partisan bill introduced by the state's Republicans. Now, before I get into this one, I would like to thank a friend of this channel, and that is AmmoSquared. I will be at their booth on Saturday morning at the Goals event in Knoxville at 11 a.m. And now, if you don't know about the company and what they do, they are an ammo subscription service that is fully customizable, so you can pick from over 70 calibers, a monthly budget that can be as big or as small as you want, and a shipping trigger so that your ammo comes to your door when you want it, and the rest of the time, it spends its time in a climate-controlled environment. They have no hidden fees or membership dues, and all ammo is factory new from brands that you trust. So, thank you again to AmmoSquared, and if you are in Knoxville this weekend, maybe I'll see you there. So, this bill right here is Assembly Bill 5958, and the title is a bill that authorizes elected officials and their chief of staff to carry certain firearms subject to compliance with training requirements. It was introduced by a Robert Auth and Gregory Meyer on July 24th and is co-sponsored by Assemblyman S. Keene. The bill takes a current law in New Jersey that exempts military, feds, state police, corrections, and sheriffs from the state's carry laws while on duty or traveling for work. Interestingly, the law also exempts prosecutors and judges of the tax court, workmen's comps courts, or judges with the Office of Administrative Law, so long as they take a special training course offered by the Police Training Commission. So anyway, this Assembly bill takes this law and adds the following section to exempt another kind of special privilege. 18. A person who is an elected official at all times while in the state of New Jersey, but only for the duration of the elected official's term. For purposes of this subsection, an elected official means any person holding the office of United States Senator or member of the United States House of Representatives elected from this state, or any person holding a state or local government office which, under the state constitution or by law, is filled by the registered voters of a jurisdiction at an election, or 19, a person appointed by an elected official to serve as chief of staff while in the actual performance of the person's official duties, but only for the duration of the elected official's term. The exemptions are from the part of New Jersey law that criminalizes gun ownership without the proper government permits. Now, if you're confused as to what this might mean, there is a statement tacked on at the end that spells it out in clear English. This bill authorizes elected officials and their chiefs of staff to carry certain firearms subject to compliance with training requirements. Under current law, there are general prohibitions regarding the possession of firearms and weapons, but there are exemptions for certain individuals. These exemptions allow specific individuals, such as law enforcement officers, military personnel, and certain government officials, to carry firearms in the course of their official duties. Under the provisions of this bill, the general prohibitions on possessing a handgun, rifle, and shotgun will not apply to a person who is an elected official. Under the bill, an elected official means any person elected from the state as a United States Senator or United States House of Representatives, or any person holding a state or local government office which, under the state constitution or by law, is filled by the registered voters of a jurisdiction at an election. In addition, the elected official is authorized to carry their firearm at all times while in the state of New Jersey, but only for the duration of the elected official's term. In addition, under the bill, general prohibitions on possessing a handgun, rifle, or shotgun will not apply to a person appointed by an elected official to serve as the elected official's chief of staff. This exemption only applies while in the actual performance of the person's official duties and only for the duration of the elected official's term. Additionally, an elected official and their chief of staff are required to complete a firearms training course approved by the Police Training Commission before qualifying for the exemption under the provisions of this bill. Finally, the elected official and their chief of staff are required to annually qualify in the use of a firearm. So, under this bill, if you wanted to be exempt from New Jersey's gun control laws, meaning no permit, no firearms purchaser ID, and being able to carry anywhere and everywhere in the state, or transport anywhere and everywhere in the state, all you'd have to do is win an election. Supporters of the bill argue that it's needed to protect lawmakers and other government officials from threats. But if officials are scared and feel the need to be armed, shouldn't everyday citizens have that same right? Why are they afforded protection but regular people aren't? Especially considering a lot of these people pay for higher security. For years, New Jersey required someone to demonstrate they were in danger as proof for their need for a gun when they applied for a permit. Now, if this bill were to become law, politicians could bypass that entire process without having to prove anything to anyone. Meanwhile, New Jersey's laws are some of the strictest in the country, and they do not seem to be getting any better. Oth has been in office since 2014, and I don't think it's any coincidence that Democrats have been working on even more gun control in the state this session, which Oth himself called unconstitutional and unnecessary, that suddenly he wants to be sure he's exempt. Some of those laws take aim at 3D printers and their files, require credit cards to track gun and ammo purchases, there are ammo confiscation rules, and these laws even created new crimes around guns. Now, I don't follow him or New Jersey state politics closely. Honestly, I might not even be saying his name right. But a quick Google brought up pro-gun talking points in a news article that he introduced a bill to fast-track gun permits for survivors of domestic violence in 2022. That's nice. He got a 100% rating from the NRA in 2017 and 2015, but he also voted in favor of universal background checks, red flag laws, and barring anyone with domestic abuse charges from getting permits. So that makes me wonder what he's doing to try and reduce some of the burden on New Jersey gun owners and potential gun owners, rather than just making himself exempt with a magic wand. For Meyer, all I could find was him saying crime is down in New Jersey due to more people getting carry permits. He's only been in office since January 2024, so he has less of a record to pick apart, but I would pose him the same question. What is he doing to help his gun-owning constituents besides trying to exempt himself from these laws? Probably the only thing that could come out of this bill passing is it would provide a hell of an argument for something being unconstitutional. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. You guys know the drill. For all of the algorithms, please do them. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting.